We're also digging into the shooter's past, specifically his employment history, which includes several complaints as well as firings.
Tonight, for the first time, we hear from two news directors, both of whom hired and fired Vester Lee Flanagan because of what they call anger issues and odd behavior. Britni McDonald has that investigation for us tonight. And Britni, what else have you learned?
Well, Flanagan is being called a disgruntled employee. His actions today coming more than 2 years after he was fired from WDBJ. The news director who let him go calls it the toughest termination they ever had. Vester Lee Flanagan, who went by Bryce Williams on air, was hired on to WDBJ as a reporter in May of 2012. But he would only make it a few months before being fired by the station's then news director, Dan Dennison.
We ended up terminating him in February of 2013.
Dennison says Flanagan filed numerous complaints about coworkers throughout his time there.
They were largely along racial lines.
He outlined some of them in his 23-page fax to ABC News shortly after the shooting. But Dennison says the complaints had no standing.
We did a thorough investigation and could find no evidence that anyone had racially discriminated against this man.
There were complaints about Flanagan, too.
He seemed to have a short fuse. Something didn't go his way. He didn't fit in because people found it difficult to work with him.
He was eventually let go in 2013, but not without a fight.
We had to get some assistance from the police to get him out of here.
He was probably the toughest termination we ever had, or that I was ever involved in.
This wasn't Flanagan's first time being fired. The 41-year-old had worked in several markets over a 20-year period, including Tallahassee, Florida.
He was a good on-air performer, pretty good reporter. And then things started getting a little strange with him.
His odd behavior got him fired from WTWC the same year he was hired in 2000. Flanagan later tried suing the station for discrimination, but it was thrown out.
You just never know when you're going to work how a potentially unhinged or unsettled person might impact your life in such a tragic way as we saw in Roanoke this morning.
Flanagan had a past confrontation with one of our reporters who used to work with him at WDBJ, so we were on lockdown here at NBC 12 at one point today for safety reasons until knowing the threat was over. On your side, Britni McDonald, NBC 12.